Hey traders, John Hal here. Hope you guys are doing well. Do not place a trade based in this video. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Please just get off this video right now. Leave it right now. I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, guys. And this is just to help answer a question that I got from one of my videos. Okay, so if you'd like some free education, guys, some coaching, so on and so forth, click on the link in the description. Yeehaw! Let's actually get into today's video. The question comes from, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, but I apologize. B. I'm going to call him B. Mr. B. Hi, John. Can you please make a video on how to select the stop loss value? Thank you. No problem, my man. No problem. So I'm going to click a little like button on that one there. And let's actually go over to the chart right now. And I want to talk about how to set a stop loss value. Now, a stop loss value is not where you... One thing I used to do in the past is I used to have especially when I was trading the E-mini S&P, I used to have like I say, a 2-point stop and a 2-point profit target, or a 1-point stop and a 1-point profit target. The one thing that I realized, guys, is that the stop is not determined. The stop is not determined based on what your value is, but it's determined based on the market. Makes sense? So it's determined based on the volatility of the market and so on and so forth. But also it also determines whether, you know, it also determines the stop loss value determines whether I just lost my thought. So anyway, so what you want to do when you actually trade, when you're trading the markets, is it's based on your trading strategy, right? So it's not like, well, my stop loss value is going to be X amount of points, or X amount of pips, or X amount of percentage per time, right? There's not going to be that. So what I'm talking about here, guys, is this: is that if I bring, let me just bring my chart down here for a minute. And so if I bring up my trend lines here, so what you want to do is you want to have your stop loss. So your stop loss needs to be determined on your trading strategy. So for example, my ultimate stop loss is that if I get into a trade, right? If I get into a trade and we have a nice big up bar, right? So depending on how big this bar is, my ultimate stop is down here. Now I don't ever wait for it to get down to there, but that's my ultimate stop loss, meaning my maximum stop loss I'm willing to take. So that is my risk. So this bar here could be 4 points, 5 points, 6 points, or whatever. What you need to do is that it's called risk management, right? So if this one here, if you had just call this just a normal size bar, or a normal size breakout bar, and that was going to put, let's just say it's going to put 2% risk on your account. Okay, so you're going to get in, you're going to enter here, you're going to enter here. Oh, whoops, wrong one. You're going to enter there, and that's going to put a 2% risk on your account. Makes sense? But then if and just call this here, let's just call this a 50-point bar, right? If you're trading Forex or futures or whatever, there's a 50-point bar, right? 50-point bar. Let me just delete it off the screen. Let me start all over again here. All right, so we have this big up bar here. You have a normal bar. It's a 50-point bar, and that 50-point bar equals 2% of your risk. Makes sense? So 2% of your account of what you would normally put on there. Makes sense? So, and let's just say, for example, most of your trades, you're putting on 10% of your account, all right? Just for argument's sake, all right? Just for argument's sake here. Well, then how you set your stop loss value is that if this is one thing, I've really learned this from my millionaire mentor. This 50-point bar, which is you put on 10% of your account, but that 10% of your account, if you do get stopped out, you're risking 2% of your account. Makes sense? Well, if that's the case, if then suddenly this bar here is now 100 points, well, guess what? Now you have to adjust your position size. So now the risk is doubled. So yes, the bar is still, you still got a big bar. This is now double the size of the bar. It's not 50, it's now 100 points. And if you take the same 10%, you're still risking what? You're still risking, you still want to risk 2%, right? So therefore, you've got to bump that down. And so now you've got to keep the risk the same, but now your position size needs to be 5% instead of the 10%, because it's double the size, it's double the risk. Makes sense? So this is how you select the stop loss value when you're actually trading the markets, whenever you're trading the markets. Now, depending on what you do and the way you trade, if you're trading Forex, you're trading futures, where actually you've got an actual stop loss in place on the chart and you're watching it on intraday basis, then that's what you want to do. You want to, it's not a matter of having the same amount of, it's not having the same like a 2 point every single time. No, you have a trading strategy. You have a loss based on the trading strategy. See, for me, I know that when I get in, the market, this down here is my ultimate stop loss. Now, I also do know that 9 times out of 10, I'm going to get the rally. I'm going to get the move up from there. Makes sense? I'm going to get a nice move up from there. So I know that for a fact. But I also do know as well too that this here is what I call my maximum stop out. If the market does start to come down through here and it starts to get really heavy, I'm exiting the market through here somewhere. You know what I mean? I'm done with it and I'm taking the stop loss. So I don't ever wait for that maximum stop loss. But if you're looking for a set amount of rules, then my rules is definitely it's at the low of the bar, because my back testing and my strategy shows that if you wait for a really good breakout bar and it's got everything in line with my trading rules, then we're likely to follow through. Does that make sense, guys? I hope that makes sense. And I hope this really helps you out as well too when you're trying to set that stop loss value. It's not a matter of having a certain amount of pips or a certain amount of points or percentage every single time. What you want to do is you want to adjust your contract position to risk the same amount of money. It's more about the risk management than the actual stop value. So that's how successful traders and professional traders trade the markets.